Prince Harry's name is flashing across headlines again, but this time, it's for reasons that have royal watchers deeply unsettled. According to insider whispers, something disturbing recently unfolded behind the lavish gates of his Montecito mansion, and the palace's eerie silence is only making the story harder to ignore. Rumors spread rapidly online, alleging that Harry was discovered unconscious at his California estate, in a state of distress linked directly to drug use. While official confirmation is non-existent, no statements from Buckingham Palace, no word from Harry himself, the very idea sent shockwaves through media circles and royal fan communities. After all, Harry's past with substances isn't exactly a secret, so the whispers carried just enough credibility to catch fire. But what truly sent jaws dropping wasn't just the alleged emergency, it was the absence of Meghan Markle at Harry's side. The scandal took a dramatic twist when rumors emerged that instead of supporting her husband, Meghan was spotted living it up at an exclusive members-only club miles away, apparently oblivious to Harry's reported crisis. The narrative painted her in a chillingly indifferent light, suggesting either marital breakdown or worse, a calculated strategy to distance herself from scandal. In the absence of hard evidence, theories have run wild. Notorious royal commentator Lady Colin Campbell cryptically suggested that if this crisis did indeed unfold, only a few insiders would know the truth, and hinted that someone close might have deliberately leaked it to the press. That sly insinuation thrust Meghan into an uncomfortable spotlight, casting her as someone willing to exploit even tragedy to control her public image. Yet amidst the chaos, one name emerged as an unlikely hero: David Langdown, Harry's longtime bodyguard and trusted friend. According to sources, it was Langdown who allegedly found the prince, quickly assessing the situation and taking decisive action. If true, it would mark another chapter in Langdown's storied history with Harry. This former Scotland Yard officer isn't just a hired protector, he's one of Harry's few remaining confidants, a stable presence since the wild Vegas nights of Harry's younger days. It's an enduring friendship built on trust and mutual respect, and possibly the only thing keeping Harry's fragile personal life from completely unraveling. But to truly understand why these rumors captured public imagination so vividly, you have to consider Harry's complicated history. Even before adulthood, the prince was no stranger to controversy. As a teenager, Harry openly experimented with marijuana and heavy drinking, incidents that caused public embarrassment and frantic palace interventions. At just 16, his father, then Prince Charles, orchestrated a drastic public lesson, sending Harry for a day-long scare at a rehab clinic in an effort to shake him straight. It didn't work. Fast forward a decade, and Harry's escapades only escalated. Infamous party nights in Croatia, wild weekends in Vegas, each new headline reinforcing his image as the rebellious royal. In his bombshell memoir, Spare, Harry himself admitted openly to past cocaine use, casual cannabis smoking, and experimenting with psychedelic drugs like ayahuasca and magic mushrooms. Ironically, he claimed these substances were therapeutic, a controversial stance that didn't sit well with mental health professionals or royal observers alike. So, given his track record, the Montecito rumors weren't exactly out of left field. Still, what disturbed many wasn't the drug allegation itself, but the suggestion that Meghan Markle might have had a hand in Harry's downward spiral, or at least turned a blind eye. Critics argue that Meghan has strategically isolated Harry, subtly discouraging professional psychiatric support in favor of alternative and potentially dangerous remedies. The result, according to these critics, is a prince dangerously dependent on his wife, his judgment clouded by substances and manipulation alike. These allegations took an even darker turn, with whispers resurfacing about Meghan's own rumored connections. The online rumor mill reignited claims surrounding Meghan's mother, Doria Ragland, alleging a shadowy past involving drug dealing. Royal biographer Tom Bower notably fanned the flames, publicly asserting Doria's alleged criminal past without presenting concrete evidence. While no official records back this theory, it nonetheless added fuel to a fire that portrays Meghan as someone raised around drug culture, influencing her choices and relationships. And then, of course, there's the extended Markle family itself, especially Meghan's nephew Tyler Dooley, who famously capitalized on her royal status to launch his cannabis business, creating strains named Markle Sparkle and Archie Sparky. While Meghan has no direct connection to these ventures, critics still gleefully connect dots, implying guilt by association. Though unfair, it's exactly the kind of salacious narrative that tabloids feast upon. Behind palace walls, meanwhile, insiders reportedly scrambled to manage fallout from this fresh scandal. Buckingham Palace has remained utterly silent, officially treating these rumors as beneath response. Unofficially, royal watchers claim senior family members, including King Charles and Prince William, are deeply concerned. The family has watched Harry's public unraveling for years, from explosive interviews to painful memoir revelations. Many quietly feared a crisis like this might eventually erupt. Privately, royal aides may have strategized about how to contain the narrative, if indeed there was something real behind the rumors. Lady Colin Campbell has suggested the palace's silence isn't passive but strategic, a method of demonstrating tough love, letting Harry face his own consequences rather than intervening as in the past. The goal, some argue, might be to finally force Harry into confronting his issues head-on, away from palace protection. Still, others question whether palace silence could be a deliberate cover-up. If Harry indeed had a near-fatal overdose, would the royal family risk public embarrassment by quietly burying the story? History offers precedent. Early indiscretions of Harry's youth were initially handled discreetly until media scrutiny forced openness. But given today's scrutiny and Harry's strained relationship with his family, such a cover-up would likely be impossible. What's certain is that this episode, true or not, fits neatly into a narrative of decline. Harry has been portrayed as increasingly isolated in Montecito, far from friends, estranged from family, and dependent largely on Meghan's social circle for company. Royal biographer Hugo Vickers recently suggested Harry fears losing Meghan more than anything else, essentially trapped by choices that have alienated him from the life he once knew. Critics suggest this isolation could push him further into unhealthy behaviors. For now, the Sussex camp has dismissed these rumors as baseless, making public appearances that showcase unity and calm. Yet, in the unforgiving glare of public life, perception often matters more than truth. And the perception is increasingly clear. Prince Harry is a troubled figure, teetering on the edge of something potentially tragic. Supporters and detractors alike agree on one thing: Harry is struggling. He's a man who's borne childhood trauma, navigated immense privilege, and faced relentless media scrutiny. His openness about mental health has earned praise, but also criticism for how he's chosen to cope. Whether drugs are truly part of that coping mechanism or simply a salacious fabrication, Harry remains a royal caught between past privilege and present turmoil. Ultimately, this latest episode illustrates something deeper and more tragic than mere tabloid gossip. It's the portrait of a man whose personal battles have become media fodder, exploited for clicks and ratings. And at the heart of all these rumors, beyond the scandals and speculation, is Prince Harry himself, a figure seemingly forever in crisis, trapped by fame, expectation, and perhaps by the very choices he once believed would set him free. But if there's one person who's been a consistent thread through every chaotic moment in Harry's adult life, it's David Langdown. For years, Langdown has been more than just a protector. He's been Harry's right hand, especially after the couple's move to America. When longtime royal staff stepped away and the distance from his UK-based friends grew, Langdown remained. Those close to the prince say he's the only person left in Harry's circle who isn't swayed by celebrity or palace politics. Some even describe him as the one person who can talk sense into Harry when things spiral too far. If these rumors are true, it might have been Langdown, once again, who stepped in just in time. And yet, even with someone like Langdown around, the pressure surrounding Harry seems relentless. He's no longer just a member of the royal family. He's a brand, a business, a media figure. Every step he takes is judged, every word he says dissected. His every smile is questioned for authenticity, and that kind of pressure, day in and day out, can wear anyone down. Some close to the family worry that what we're seeing isn't a series of scandals, but symptoms of something deeper, a man unraveling under the weight of a life that never truly felt like his own. This begs the question, what would it take for Harry to get back on track? Some say reconciliation with his family could be a first step, but that bridge may already be burned. Others believe the real answer lies in removing himself from the spotlight altogether. Step away from the cameras, the Netflix deals, the podcast drama, and just heal. The challenge, of course, is that the world won't stop watching. Whether he stays silent or speaks up, whether he recovers or relapses, every move becomes another headline. And for a man already wary of the press, that's a cruel cycle. There's also growing speculation about Meghan's next move. If public sentiment continues to sour, and if more insiders begin speaking out, her carefully crafted narrative could start to unravel. Some royal analysts believe Meghan is already bracing for damage control, pulling back from public appearances, avoiding interviews, and shifting her PR approach. If these rumors keep gaining traction, there's a very real chance that public trust in her could be irreparably damaged, not just in the UK, but globally. And with that damage, Harry's isolation could deepen even more. But maybe the biggest tragedy here isn't the rumors or the headlines. It's the possibility that beneath the scandals and speculation, there's a very real human being struggling. Strip away the palace, the titles, the media noise, and you're left with a man who's lost touch with his past, uncertain of his future, and desperately trying to hold on to something, anything that feels real. And if even a fraction of what's being whispered is true, then Harry doesn't need more judgment. He needs help. Real, honest, compassionate help. Before the story that's unfolding becomes one we all regret watching in silence. What makes this all the more heartbreaking is that Harry once stood as a symbol of resilience. He was the boy who walked behind his mother's coffin in front of the entire world. The young royal who tried to forge his own path through service, humor, and defiance. People rooted for him, not because he was perfect, but because he was relatable. Flawed, wounded, but trying. Somewhere along the way, though, that version of Harry began to fade, replaced not just by controversy, but by confusion. A man who seems constantly pulled between loyalty and rebellion, between healing and self-destruction. Now the world is watching not just out of curiosity, but with growing concern. If there's one thing this moment has made clear, it's that fairy tales don't always end with a happily ever after, especially when the cameras keep rolling long after the credits should have rolled. Whether this latest story is true or not, it has exposed just how vulnerable Harry really is. And while the palace may be able to hide scandals, and the tabloids may move on to the next big name, one truth remains. Behind all the headlines is a man who needs more than a new narrative. He needs saving.